So I had all that crusty bread left over from the last video and chili ingredients as well. So I repurposed them and decided to use them for a coconut curry. And the key to a good curry is to use a very high quality spice, and then you don't need any other spices or herbs. I also added a tiny bit of cashew butter just for a little bit of creaminess. And then I've always been taught that for coconut curries to just add a little bit of lemon juice and it will just zing it up. Also added kale I actually picked it over the last summer and had it in the deep freezer. And then for the bread, again, because it wasn't that good, I decided to toast it in butter. And trust me, that makes everything delicious. And the result is a very winter, heartwarming, comforting chickpea coconut curry with a lot of veggies and also meatless. So meatless Mondays, here I come. And the bread is delicious because I slathered it in butter. Then I decided to move on and make New York Times maple blueberry jam cookies, which uses this really great blueberry jam. I ended up putting on yogurt and almost anything I could for the rest of the week. The cookie recipe is pretty simple. You just cream your butter and sugar, add your eggs and vanilla extract, and then your dry ingredients are just typical, flour, baking soda. And for the spices, it calls for cardamom, which the only thing I always think of with cardamom is a couple years ago, I made a cardamom bun recipe. And that is how my roommate found out she's deathly allergic to cardamom. Recipe also called for fresh grated nutmeg, which was super cool. It looks like a little brain inside of there. And then you just mix up the dry ingredients and then you add it in two separate batches to the wet ingredients to your stand mixer, which so glad I have this. I don't bake that much, but it's life-saving. It was my first big adult purchase after college. I remember I saved up and was really proud of myself when I got it. Then you add your oatmeal, which is what makes this cookie recipe totally healthy, right? And then it called for chopped walnuts, but instead I just like to smash my walnuts and it does the job and it's more fun and it's also therapy in your kitchen. And so add it to the batter and then just mix it all together and it's gonna kind of form this like sticky cookie batter mix. And then for the construction is where it gets interesting. So you form balls like you would expect for the cookie recipe, and they're actually gonna be fingerprint-like cookies. Originally, I thought the jam was gonna be just open, but you'll kind of see actually, it's a weird, interesting technique, and I wonder if it's not to burn the jam. But after you press your thumbprint into the cookies and make a little well into each, and then you go ahead and you fill it with that delicious blueberry jam. Then what the recipe actually has you do is take more dough and kind of spread it out over the top of the cookies. And so it kind of seals in that blueberry jam. I thought that this would maybe give like a gusher feel, but I didn't make the holes deep enough. And so what it actually did is kind of make the wrong ratio of cookie to jam. Also, I should have made a half batch of this recipe. I wasn't thinking about that, but this was too many cookies and a little sad, but I didn't space them apart enough. And so it turned into a gigantic oatmeal bar. And I don't know if it's because of my mistake, but I actually didn't really like these cookies that much. I think it's because I don't like oatmeal cookies. And this is when I realized I didn't like oatmeal cookies. Now I have 2 cookie trays full of these oatmeal blueberry jam cookies now. So I guess I have to eat them.